All right, there we go. We are now coming up. We are live on our YouTube. Greetings and blessings, everybody. Um, on YouTube. All right. Greetings, everybody. Greetings, greetings. Welcome to the House of OFC, where we get together on a weekly basis to share consciousness, to discuss spirituality, to uplift each other and our brothers and sisters. I am grateful for this opportunity for us to be able to connect on a weekly basis. As you guys know, the House of OFC is open to all religion, all denominations, everybody who wants to get together just to discuss spirituality is we are here for this and we are here for you. So thank you for participating. Thank you for being here with us. And so how we normally get down, we'll go through our regular quick little tool in the tab. So we start off with um, our quick introduction. So everyone just introducing who they are, what they do. Then we're going to play a quick little musical selection this morning. We want to talk a little bit about it, and then we dive into a topic, a subject. Today, the topic that we are addressing is the Kemetic calendar. So we're deep diving. We're going into Kemetic science. We're going into Kemetic history, and we're going to be discussing the Kemetic calendar with our brothers from the I want to call it the House of Kepta, but we'll have them clarify in a moment. So I am Pharaoh Hamid-Freeman, founder and director of the OFC One Full Circle community, where we're here to create a space for community to get together, to build together, to get to know each other, and to break bread in order to build a solid economic future for ourselves as well as our future generations. So we've been doing this for the last 16 years, and we're glad to be here and we're glad to be able to create these type of spaces. And I'm joined by my brother Ibohan. You want to introduce yourself, brother?
Am I clear?
Yes, you do sound a little far away. Funny you say that.
Exactly. That's the same thing I'm hearing from your end. It's
Yeah,
distant.
eh?
Yeah.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, yes. Hold on, let's see. Well, on my end, I didn't do anything different. So it might be your audio coming through different on your phone.
No, it's initially it was very clear when we began talking, and then the transition into the signings, it just went distant for ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So then let me see, because it's either that or the launch of we have a documentary that we're queuing up. So maybe that is pulling some audio. I'm not sure.
maybe.
But it's like I'm hearing you. It's just not as loud as normal.
Exactly. Same thing from my end.
Hmm. Are we on? I wish are people who are watching us on YouTube, I'd love to know. Hold on, let me switch to that screen. For people who are watching on YouTube, can you hear us? Can you guys hear us? Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Well, hey. Yes. Okay. Yeah. We're being heard.
Okay.
So, yeah, so they're hearing
So
us. It sounds a little bit lighter for us, but we are
yeah, it
still
does.
being heard.
It does. So I am Connections, aka Ebohon Idanije, the founder of Connections and the co-founder of United Explorers, program director for United Explorers, and a proud partner of the OFC community. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for being here. Queen Tasha, nice having you with us. You want to just introduce yourself to the people?
Hey, how you guys doing? I am Tasha Love Oracle, and it is great to be here on this fine day hanging out with y'all. Thank you very much, baby.
You already know. Happy Mother's Day, moms.
Thank you. You see, I had to put on my mother wears, baby. I had to look good today.
Yeah, that's what it is. And to all mothers out there who are listening, supporting, participating, we're glad to have you in our life experience. And you guys love light and all kind of positivity. Yeah, you guys make us, so we're glad to be here, and we're glad to have you with us. All right. So, Oh, and Ikariba, you are here. You want to just do a quick introduction, let people know who you are, what you do, and then we're going to transition and play some music real quick and then get back into the topic of the morning or afternoon.
Oh, that's me.
No,
Uh,
Ikariba, I know he's in transition. So okay,
okay.
maybe he's not able to speak yet. I know he's setting up. So I'm gonna play our musical selection for today, and then we'll be back with our topic. We're gonna start talking about the ancestral calendar and timing. All right, one moment, people. Sorry about that, guys. Had a little technical issue here. All right, let me see. Are you guys hearing me? Are you hearing and are you seeing?
Yes.
Beautiful.
We blame the wolf for the blood on the floor, but who left the latch off the family door? Thomas sat with a friend in the room. He didn't know he was dining with his doom. The coin was silver, the kiss was cold. For a seat at the table, the vision was sold. The worst kind of war a soldier can fight is when his own army attacks in the night. The stranger stood outside the gate with a gun, but the door was opened by the trusted one. You say the white man came and took it all, but the black man whispered which giant should fall. Not every skin is kin. They smile in your face, but they let the devil in. They're right with you now, but they cut you in the end. The iron cannot cut the tree. No, no, until the wood agrees. No, 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 no. Don't look at the wolf, look at the path. The deepest night is the one in your back. Oh, yeah. Patrice was screaming in the back of the car while the people he fought for watched from afar. Sankara is gone, Lumumba is dust, killed by the weapon of family trust. We cheer for the tyrant who tosses us bread and stone the prophet who wakes up the dead. You hate the reflection you see in the glass, so you let the armies of the enemy pass. Self-hate is the gatekeeper standing so tall. They cut you in the end. The iron cannot cut the tree. No, no. Until the wood agrees. No, 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 no. Don't look at the wolf. Look at the pack. The deepest knife is the one in your back. Oh.
Word up. That track had layers to it. Hold on, let me stop share. All right, brother Ibrahim, let's talk about it. What was that track? What was the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, my brother and I, we always brainstorm because at the heart of all hearts, the end point where we're going is understanding that nobody's doing this to us. Is the lack of understanding of self identity and who we are, and the love of self. This is the end point. No matter how you slice the cake, no matter what structure you put in place, no matter how the thoughts go, it is what goes on within the psychological mind, the spiritual mind, that is important. So sometimes we have to close our eyes to know that the problem we face comes from within. It's not out there. So we're trying to solve the problem with the structures laid for us out there without being able to see, to draw our own structures from within, which falls back to love. And to love, stand as a tree, stand as a forest, and to hold our hands as we move forward, knowing that the end point is learning to love self and learning to love the bigger community. So the song came from that inspiration to rise as the sun and to shine. And yeah, the sun does not know anything else but to shine. It
Mm.
does not know. All it knows is just rise up and just shine. So that's the end point of where we intend to go. And yeah, that's the inspiration of the song. It's
Brother, that's very deep, very deep. Like when listening to it, like what I was getting or understanding from it was the angle of looking outside of ourselves, like we're looking at the enemy outside of ourselves and not understanding that sometimes it's coming from within our household, so to speak.
Mhm.
That was what I was getting from the track, is like the skin folk not being kinfolk. I think we all know that expression oh too well. So it's not just because a person is of your race or nationality that means that they're on your side. And within the OFC, we talk about that all the time, like just explaining that our community is open to all races, all nationalities, because we're
Mm.
more focused on building with those who share the same values as us and see the importance of building together as a community,
Mm.
beyond just race, because race is it's an important construct, but it is still just it's our outer clothing, but it's not who
Yeah,
we are, right? We are
yeah,
definitely more than what we're wearing on the outside.
yeah.
Um,
People, to add to what you're saying, just to add, if I may, please, when people talk about race, they talk about race, you know, but they see race as a skin or something. We're talking about the just quickly, people can come together under an identity, under a logo, under a company, under organizations. But the one thing that people have not been able to come under is the human race. The human race encompasses everything. So when you go, when a person ascends, like the iPhone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to a point where you become human, then that's the race that we want, the human race, and that is above all the BS that we go through. So it's very difficult to rise to the human race, to be human, to become human being continuously. It is
mm,
very difficult because people would not. Most of us are afraid to let go of what we know and hold on to the unknown, because being human is something that we have not experienced yet as a group.
well said. I love that. I'm a huge believer in that. Sister Tasha, did you have anything you want to
Well,
chime
I
in
don't
on?
know. Somebody just be dropping all the big bombs and don't be leaving none for nobody else.
Love you too, sister.
We won't talk about him, okay?
Love you all the way.
Oh
Love
my
you. Yeah.
God, brother, that was exactly my whole mindset. Is that we forgot that we were part of the same human race. I could take my heart and I could put it into a Spanish man, a white man. I could put it into a short person, a tall person. my heart can still beat in you. And so, you know, that division that we have that has divided us and literally has taken us apart is something that, I mean, really, in all honesty, it was just there to make money. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think the pandemic was the thing that showed me just how easily they could make a division between us. Because during the pandemic, it was like everybody forgot about race, everybody forgot about everything. We were all locked in the house together. We all just all felt imprisoned, and we all felt the same feeling. We all know the same feeling. It didn't matter if you were black, white, Asian, it didn't matter. Everybody was just shut inside, right? And then
Mm.
they gave us a little bit of freedom. And that little bit of freedom had us ripping our families apart, relationships apart. You have to get this, you have to get that. If you don't do this, then you can't be here, and you're putting the family at risk. And they literally just found another way to divide us. And so I realized it's just we haven't played that human race yet. We've been running on everybody else's race, but we haven't been running on ours. And when we start doing that, then all the division and all this confusion will be able to eradicate, because when you love you, you'll be able to love everything else with ease. We're running the wrong race.
Wow. Claps, claps. I was looking for my emojis. That's because it's like, and you know, I think the timing is it's interesting that we're just, you know, we're kind of preluding with this. Just there's talks of a new, some kind of new something coming. I haven't really had a chance to really look into it. You know, but it's really important that we don't let them do to us what they did to us. Where it was really, it was almost, it was kind of sad to see how quick we were able to divide or separate.
Yep.
Like it's really, it was just people were just looking for any reason. Like they're just like, yo, you know what? Like this is it. And it's we have to remember our humanity. We have to remember what unifies us. And it's funny because it's as we are evolving, it seems like we're going into a realm where there's humans, right? There's humanity. There's those who are building together as a human species. Then there's AI. So there's the cyborgs. There's those who are more connected to computers and generating, and like that's a whole other realm. And then we also have a whole other side of entities that are not native to the earth, right? Like, and we can't pretend like we're on this planet by ourselves. There's other entities cohabitating here with us who don't have the same zeal or love for Mother Nature or Gaia as we all do. And you could tell in their actions, you could tell in the way they operate, you could tell in how they're what they're pouring into the water, into the air, into the atmosphere, how they're dealing with humans. Like don't, and I feel that and sorry for going deep down this rabbit hole here, but I feel one of our challenges as a human species is that we think we're up against other humans. So we function in a way where it's like, well, you know, we're doing this to each other, not realizing there's actually a species that is not native to here, not of a human origin, and who does not have our best interests at heart, and who is extremely manipulative and is getting us to turn against each other as humanity. But as a human species, if we were to see our commonality, see ourselves as one, build together as if we are a human species and we want the best for each other, despite the money that we put in between that creates a distraction, despite the objects that we put in between that creates a distraction. Like these are it's I feel we'd be way further ahead as a human species, because right now we're again following the lead of an entity that is not native to us and doesn't function in the same ways we do. So all right, so that's my 2 cents on the topic. I could go deep, but brother Ikriba, and sister Kes Festa from the Earth Center, from the House of Kepta. Sorry, glad to have you guys with us. If you guys want to introduce yourselves to the community, you're welcome to.
Sure, I'll let my sister introduce herself first.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can everybody hear me well?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Well, glad to be here with you. I'm Hefesta, and yes, I'm part of the House of Kepta because I heard you talking about humanity, and that's what it's all about today.
Hmm.
You know, it's all about getting back to our humanity. So basically, that's what I'm here. That's why I'm here. And that's the idea of sharing with everybody and yeah, to get to the point where we can find that common ground, whatever the differences that we may have, but we need to find that common ground to walk together back to our humanity.
Hey, well said. Thank you, Queen. Thank you. Welcome, and thank you for being a part here with us. Um, Brother Ikebiro, you want to introduce yourself, let people know who you are, what you do, what you
Yeah,
represent?
sure. Thank you very much, Pharaoh, and thank you everyone for your introductions. I mean, yeah, been there, still there. Will always be there for humanity, bringing about what humanity produced of like the greatest things related with the traditions and those traditions that were kept by bloodlines that realize how much humanity can go into its downward path when knowledge is just erased. And erasing knowledge is a part of how you make sure that you bring about human beings who are powerful uh, to work for something else than themselves or their community. So I want to make sure to bring this message for us here as a whole. I'm in Caribra, Enrique Fista. We went through the initiation that was brought back by the Gulmu people in the Niger Valley, and we're really blessed not only to receive that knowledge, but as we receive, we have to give back. So that's one of the reasons why we're here. Peace.
Give thanks to that, Queen and King. Thank you guys for being here with us. We appreciate you guys. So we're just well, we're just transitioning now because we address different topics every week. As you guys know, we usually start off with just a little bit of music. We reflect a little bit about on the music that we listen to, and then we transition to a topic. So we were just dialoguing. Sorry, quickly on the music that was played today. Again, it was an inspiration by our brother Ibrahim, who shared a track that really brought us back to like our roots, so to speak. And what I like about it, I feel that it told the story in the right context because it explained that it's not really like part of our problem is ourselves. Like we are looking outside when we should be looking inside, and a lot of times we're also building like using race, and we're putting race as a factor, not realizing that it's not necessarily race because there's people who share the same tones as you who aren't on the same frequency as you. So that was just what we had shared this morning. I don't know if you had 2 cents that you want to share on that particular topic. If you do, you're welcome to share it now. If not, then we're going to transition into the next phase of the meeting today.
Yeah, if I could share some additional thought about it, is that our ancestors understood after a great while that we all have ancestors, and that it's important to have to build the relationship with our ancestors. But at the ultimate point, all the ancestors are just one. But it's really hard for us to be able to grasp that powerful idea as human beings. So it's on the spiritual realm, it's actually kind of the unity is there. So there's a place for uh, ancestors for them to communicate between each other as if they were only one. So yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to add. It's it's something that may take some while to be understood because of Earth also brings diversity, right? And diversity means that wherever you are putting your roots, you will have to you will develop a symbiotic relationship with the place where you are. All right, that is also something that is not shouldn't be neglected because of the fact that Earth in itself as an entity is an entity that we hold a relationship with, and even our ancestors being buried somewhere, they hold a powerful relationship with the place where they are buried. So this is about the connection between the Earth and us, Earth spaceship and us, but us also being one on the spiritual realm. Yeah, there is a deep connection between us as human beings, but also with Earth, and Earth brings about that diversity. That's what I want to add. Thanks a lot.
Yo, brother, what you just added there is huge. It's really cool that you just added it real casually and calm, but it's like I think on a huge level, and I look forward to being able to deep dive on these type of topics because again, like that part that you just mentioned, that ancestrally we all have like one ancestor, like we're all coming from the same fabric. I think that is a huge part that like I look forward to the day where we could see that because again, it brings us back to our roots, like beyond where we're born. It's like ancestrally where we came from is a huge thing. And then the other part about our connection to this planet. It's huge, like in terms of our, and this is something that's been kind of pressed in my spirit, so I really appreciate you sharing it. But it's like our connection between us and Gaia, between us and this planet, is beyond just we're inhabitants of the earth. I do feel that we have an interconnection, almost like some like, like a galactic interconnection with the planet. And I feel that once us as a human species starts to see our connection to each other, our connections to the astrals, as well as our connection to the earth, I feel we're going to be in a different place because we're no longer going to operate as if we are humanity and we have dominion over the earth and other beings and we could throw garbage on the ground because whatever we are man and we are powerful. We will bring it back down to a base where we understand that there's an interconnection between us and the earth, and we won't throw garbage on the ground because it's throwing garbage on ourselves. We'll respect the planet on a level because we respect ourselves on a level. We'll respect each other because we see each other in each other. We see what we do for each other is what we're doing for ourselves, and as a turn, doing it for the planet. So that trifecta there, that is, if like people talk about a utopian world, like a world where everybody sees each other as one and sees the planet as a part of this one, my God, it's a new day. So thanks for sharing. That's that's heavy. So we wanted to dive into the topic of the ancestral, the Kemetic calendar. Now I want to give a little context, and I want to see if I could get it because I as we were talking, I was pressing play on my thing, and I'm not sure if it's because I'm sharing. Actually, I stopped sharing. Brother Ikari, if you could give us a little bit of background of the Kemetic calendar, what the Kemetic calendar is, the importance of it, how we could go about receiving it. Then I'm going to play a short clip from a DVD series that we have that was produced by the Earth Center. So I don't know if you want to give a little bit of background about that as well. So we're going to play a short clip of it, then we're going to talk about it. But the plan is to have an ongoing series where we could play short clips from our ancestors who provided this amazing I guess you could say two-part documentary here, a double disc documentary on the ancestor on the what the title is, the sidereal calendar and the traditions of time division. So yeah, so if you want to give us a little bit of background about that, brother Ikiba, and then I'll dive into the DVD.
Sure. Thanks a lot. So this is a well, you it's hard to start a conversation by talking about what's a calendar, right? Because it's something really deep that took, I mean, centuries and centuries to be built. All right, so our ancestors took uh, uh, generations and generations of bloodlines that were dedicated to how to finding out where we could find reference points. All right, points of reference were really important in order to be able to position ourselves or identify ourselves in space and time. All right. So that was one of the most important thing. And it's with a lot of humility that I'm here today to be able to at least introduce that concept and also why a calendar was necessary. Because that knowledge, as you understand, didn't start with me or with my sister Kapista, right? So we are really humble of having received that knowledge that help us not only grasp the amount of knowledge that is behind what we call time. Like when you say, I don't have time, I don't have time, who decides if you have time or not? You know? You don't even know your date of when you'll be out of here, right? So how could you even know if you have time or not? Where are you? Why are you situated in this existence? Are there points where you can be where you can say, okay, for instance, with meeting my sister here, I told her let's meet us at the crossroad of Saint Michel and Henri Bourassa. So that's a reference point. I went there and she was there, right? But that comes with the understanding that um, there is a grid of reference that we are able to put on Montreal in order to find ourselves. But what about the grid of reference of space and time in the universe where we are? So we're not responsible. Who even built the grid of reference of the universe? It's not someone called Julius Caesar. It's not people. It's something above human beings. You know, it's above of point of reference that came out of discussions. It's points of reference that actually bring about equilibrium to the universe. Right? It's stable. It's where you can pinpoint a place and call a name, and that person who has that name will turn around and say, "Oh, you called me." You know, so that is something that is above the both of us. It took a long, long, long time for our ancestors to be working on this type of knowledge, body of knowledge, understanding not only the physical points of reference, but also the non-material points of reference. Are there correspondences that we can use in order for us to be able to say, hey, I know that person who came from that place and that time? Or even I know myself because I came from that place and that time. So the calendar is all about that. It's about at least knowing where you are. And our the teachings that received said one thing really important about this subject. So it's the quote is you can correct me if I got it a little bit wrong, but the quote is for who doesn't know what time it is just wasting its time during life. And that's really deep because knowing your time is connected with your life. And it comes to a point where every single so-called civilizations in the world, maybe in Asia, in America, in on the continent of our beloved continent in Europe, try to say, "Oh, we have our own calendar," and our calendar is based on the moon, let's say, or the sun, or so on and so forth, right? Because knowing what time it is and where we are is so important to start building things up to the point where you build a human being, you build a community, you even build a civilization with it. So that's kind of the introduction I want to put up in simple. I don't know if I could say simple words, but a word that could mean something for us as human being. Why should we even have calendars? You know, why would it even make sense? Why can I have just a calendar of somebody else? You know, so that's how I could introduce it.
Brother, that was a great introduction, because it gave a good context. Like, and you gave an example that makes it very easy for people to understand. Like, you happen to pick up the sister and being able to give her a point of reference to say, this is where we're meeting. For her to, first of all, you could, if you give her a cross street that she doesn't know where it is, you might give her, you could be like, meet me at the corner here, and she's like, cool, but she has no idea where these corners are. It's useless. It's
Yeah,
not like you're giving a direction that's futile. So that's an
absolutely.
amazing reference for us to understand where we are as a people. Like, we're talking about doing things, and we don't understand the timing of it. We don't understand why or when,
Absolutely.
like the ideal things, but we do have a guideline. We do actually have some a spiritual or an ancestral guide that we can be using
Yeah,
to know when is the best time to make, make certain prayers, make certain requests, make certain asks, be at certain places. Like, there's an order. And funny enough, the because the planet that we're on has an order. The spirit, the realm that we're in has an order. Although, and I do, what I appreciate about life is that we're all, we have a certain level of freedom as spirits. We're all here to be creators. We're all here to live a unique experience. But there's a guide, there's a format to do that in, where we can maximize the experience, so to speak, where we could get the best out of it, where we get the best not just for ourselves, but for our previous generations that sowed into us, and for future generations that are counting on us, right? There's an amazing order that, if we understand that at its root, we could really maximize this life experience, and have a really good time with it.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, okay,
You're right.
cool. So while we've been talking, I was getting a little bit hot because I don't know what was happening. I like this whole time I've been watching this clip, and now that I go to start it, it's not playing. So now I'm like, okay, I'm not sure why, but what is working is the second clip for some reason. Guys, we're gonna just play a
Well,
little bit of it just to see what it's
well,
talking about. You know how
go
the
on.
ancestors work. Sometimes everything happens in a weird divine order. So it's gonna put us right in the middle of something, because I was trying to start us from the beginning, but right now it seems like it's putting us right in the middle of something. I'm gonna play a little bit of it. Guys, we're live here, so this is what happens, okay? Like, it's like the clip I was trying to start, it just, honestly, this whole time we've been talking, I've been trying to get it to start. I put on the second clip, it starts no problem. I'm like, hey, let's just go with the flow. We're gonna let it play. We'll let it run for like 5, 10 minutes or so, just to take it in, and then we'll talk about it, okay? Meantime, I'll see what's going on. And so it's like we're gonna start right in the middle. Next week, if anything, ideally we'll go back from the beginning and continue. But it seems like today this is where we're starting, so we're just gonna go with it. All right. All right. We're gonna share screen, share this, share audio.
Let's go back to one thing. While we were talking before about the length of the days, okay, let's try to calculate if this is the length of the day. We talk about how the science plays a trick by introducing a notion of precision, right? But we're going to push that forward, another trick. The notion of the leap year. The scientific notion of a leap year is the fact that that the year is exactly 365 days and a quarter. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You see? That's by saying 365 days and a quarter, it introduces, it comes to strengthen that notion of precision. So which means 365 and what?
0.25.
Huh?
0.25.
0.2 or 0.25, sorry. 0.25 days. When you hear that, you go, man, these people really know everything. I mean, that means what? A quarter of a day will be 6 hours, right? So, which means they are capable of calculating that a whole year has exactly 365 days and 6 hours. Man, I mean, nobody will hear that without thinking, man, you're talking to a genius that's really figure everything out. But yet then, how do the 3 minutes that are missing in every day fit in? You see? Okay. But to be able to calculate that, now we're talking a year. We're talking about the notion of revolution, which means the notion of the earth circling around the sun. To obtain that with that much precision, doesn't that start with knowing the distance between the earth and the sun? Doesn't that start with that? And doesn't that even go on also based on knowing the parcours, the distance that the earth take? If you don't have the distance between the earth and the sun, and you don't know the course that the earth takes, how would you be able to know to this precision? Now, another thing, the leap year is not a new discovery. Now they can try to fool you by saying, well, they have a mega computers that figure that out. But 4,000 years ago, we talked leap year. Okay, 100,000 years ago, we talked leap year. That's why I interrupt that so that we can make a comparison. Now, to have a leap year, okay, hey, even the beginning of the Gregorian calendar or the Julian calendar, they talked leap year too, but they didn't have computers. So how now it becomes like, wow, my white man is so smart. That man, he calculates so much. That man, a leap year, he came up with that. That's how we talk usurpation. When people, take what doesn't belong to them, but they have to come up with some excuse. They have to come up with a way to explain that and get you to, a way to fool the knowledge, So, why it's hard for them, the science, to explain leap year, and yet they always make it a taboo. You don't talk about it. It's just there. It's a leap year. Whatever excuse you need to have to maintain it, you maintain it. Because without a leap year, it throws the even notion of time off. It doesn't work. I'm going to tell you why the leap year is there. And keep in mind that your science, your mighty white man's knowledge could not bring that to you. He could not. Even if I stop it now, there is no way you can, a white man can explain you the leap year without having to come to the sidereal calendar. There's no way. There's really no way. Because the leap year has everything to do with the Sotis star. You see? Now, you have to understand that to have a leap year, you have to understand what a year is. You remember how we've been breaking this, the notion of the cycles. The years don't work. The sun, the cycle of the sun is not working. The moon and all this don't work. So it's the notion of a year. What we call 360 years, 65 days, is not really a year. We just call it a year because there is a seasonal cycle in it. Winter, summer, spring, autumn. So because, it fits in that, we chose to call it a year. But in Kemet, that was what we were calling the farmers' years. That's what farmers go by because it rhythm their production, the period for inundation, the period for, plowing and all this. But astronomically speaking, the year is 1,461 day, which makes it exactly 4 times this. You see, that's why every 4 times that they decide let's add 1 day, because astronomically speaking, this is a year. So by adding 4 times this, you come short 1 day. Since you come short 1 day, you add that day one way or another. And why a year is this long? Now that takes us to the cycle of Sotis. Yes.
I feel like we're about to get into a whole other discussion. I I I feel like I'm stopping us at a point here. So right now I stopped us at 8 minutes, about 45 seconds in. And the ancestors work in a very miraculous, like very, very special ways. Because guys, I'm telling you, I kid you not. While we were talking from 1 o'clock, I've been trying to play the other clip, and I was like, why aren't you working? And then my spirit's like, play the other clip. And I was like, okay. And it worked. And I was like, here we are. And it put us right in the middle. I'm grateful for it because it gave us a glimpse of the knowledge that he's coming with, without us understanding there's a whole DVD before this. I just started part 2 and I played 8 minutes of part 2. But I feel it just from what I heard there was such an exciting little piece, because he's dropping so much knowledge. So now again, a brother and sister from Kepta, this is you guys' wheelhouse. So like I have questions, I have comments that I would like to put out. I don't know, Sister Taja or Brother Ibrahim, Ibrahim, sorry, if you guys also had questions, or anybody who's watching online on YouTube, if you guys have questions or comments, even just about the little bit that we just took in, I would like for us to be able to say them, put them out, and then you guys can feed into us, share from what we just heard, and then from maybe some of the questions that we might have or comments that we might have. Okay, so you could go ahead, Brother Ibrahim, if you had, and I'll ask questions last.
Oh, thank you. I really, really like what I've forgotten our sister that spoke first from the Kempter. Is that House of Kempter? Is that it?
Kept that.
I like a Kempter, exactly. because she spoke from a point that no matter what is happening, we have come to the point where we have to put aside all these differences and find a common ground we can where we can advance and get to the point of being human. And to come to a common goal means we have to let go of something. That's what the evolution is. When you see iPhone 5 goes to iPhone 15 and the system as worse before, we used to use maps to drive on the streets. And now everything has been upgraded to a format of the internet where people have it on a phone. And what that does is normally before we used to be able to, we used to be able to store all the information on our heads. So I knew all the numbers of my mom, my dad, my brothers, my uncle, everybody was in there. Even the streets to drive from here to Toronto, everywhere. I knew it off by heart, you know, and that's self-trust. That's trust in self. So what this technology does to us is putting trust in something that is not us. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying like, you know, we let go of ourselves and we depend on the system that is not really us. So by so doing, memory is erased, connecting it with what our brother said in the first place. So our brother spoke, I just wanted to add this to it. Our brother spoke about, he spoke about, I wrote it down. He spoke about, was it time? As in the connection of meeting at Edinburgh, for example. What I have to, yes, the time. And he spoke about at the highest of all high, at the point, all ancestor becomes one, you know? So they become one. So it doesn't really matter, like, you know, who brings the message. We get the message. We're one. That's where we intend to go. So evil has entered into our homes on a spiritual, psychological level. This is the battle we face. So when you spoke about, like, you know, different entities coming in, human, being human, and those who are not human, literally speaking, human evil has entered into our homes, and you can see it from a psychological, emotional, spiritual perspective, which is all one. And then you can see the manifestation of that in our homes, like in physical geographic locations. You can see that. I can see it all the time, and this is heavy. As an individual person, it is heavy in the chest. It's a heaviness that needs to be cast out, and can only be cast out from a spiritual level if we focus on the air that we take in and we take out. That's it's very broad. I just put like that: take in and take out, because the thoughts that come in the mind and the operation is psychological. It's inside the mind without realizing it. So when we try to solve this problem from outside, then we're letting go of the inside, which is the home that we have as a people. You can see it from all ways. So to be human is to be very, very vulnerable. To rise to being human, where you're soft-hearted and you're kind and you are even willing to sacrifice your own life to pave a way for the next generation. It's a vulnerable state, with reference to birth of our children. Talking about calendar, we're talking about calendar and birth. I'm 50, so I'm fortunate to have been born in Africa and to have seen how children way back, how the names that were given to children were designed from the things that our fathers saw, like, you know, with nature, what was happening to this tribe when this child came, what was the visions that the people in the environment saw, and when did this child come? So they were able to give names to our children based on what they brought into the community. It wasn't just random names. So these children live by that guidance through their life, like, you know, trying to be that vision that they are coming in from the spiritual world. So that's something that we lost. We cannot explain, no words. I will stop with this. I was asking that no words can explain the Almighty. So what we're saying right now, there's no, when you get to spirit, words are tools that are made to try to express, to pass on knowledge. But on the deep, deep real, the air you breathe, you don't see it. You don't see the air you breathe. You cannot divide the air that you breathe. But this is what gives us life. Even you can take it up to the sun. You cannot divide the sun. You cannot divide anything that is created by pure love. We cannot. So no words can explain that, and no structure. no structure set in place can bind the almighty essence. The almighty essence. So that you can take that to in its true form. So our spirit at its truest form, being one with all these ancestors, cannot be bound into a structure. So this is what I want to add to that. And
Thank
to
you.
behold is to be, yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Man, that was deep. There are many levels to it. Sister Taja, the floor is yours. And then I'll ask my question and give my comment. I got I found from Kepta. I hope you guys are taking notes because we have all kind of things and and then we'll give you guys a floor to respond and to give your perspective and or to answer. Yes, Sister Taja.
Well, what I've, in listening to what you said there, brother, there's something that it started to spark in my spirit. We don't have to look for that divine thing. I realize, and it's something in this work that I do, and even with something within myself that I'm learning more and more and more. Time is linear, right? So the past, the present, and the future is all literally right now. Because if I start talking about last week, that's because I have to go into my mind and I have to pull out that Rolodex from last week, right? Because that's stored in my mind. Then even if I want to focus on the future, I have to build a picture within my mind of what that future looks like. And I'm doing it all still in this present moment, in this right now. So the time energy that we so got trapped up with this clock, with this, this tick, 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 that we were never supposed to be so bound by it. We were supposed to let it be able to show us, right? Because here's the thing, with time being as linear as it is, our memories and these things were only supposed to give us a guideline of what we did. We were never supposed to get stuck in it. And when we utilize that power of I am, when we really start to take that accountability and that responsibility for ourselves, for every word, for every thought, for every breath that we take, when we start to take that full accountability, then we will start to see that divine being right before us, because then the hate comes off and all that division comes off. When I could look at another man and not see anything on him but that divine energy and want to help him, want to guide him, want to hold that door open for him, then I'm doing what the divine energy wants me to do. But when I'm fighting with myself, I'm instantly going to fight with you. When I don't like myself, I'm instantly going to find something to pick at with you. We keep looking for this outside narrative to be able to guide us to our truth. But really, all we have to do is keep listening to what is being told to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week from within. And then all of a sudden, that connection that we think that we have to go seek, we realize that we already are, is, and will always forever continue to be. Thank you. Look, I'm like, hats off. It's Mother's Day. I'm feeling myself.
Yeah, that is the energy. Oh my God. That's so deep. Okay, what was my question? So okay. Okay, so what did we choose? Okay, so one of the things that stood out to me, there was two main things that in the teaching we just listened to. So one was the fact that 1 year is actually 1,461 days. That part, I really want us to unpack that because, oh, Taj, I see your hand back up.
I'm sorry, because you just said that, and it also compares to the womb, right? It's Mother's Day. It compares to the womb. A baby sits 10 months in a mother's womb. That baby actually ages 900 plus years in human years in the womb. So that baby's not coming out 1 or 0. That baby's coming out almost 1,000 years old. And you just said that a year is the equivalent of 1,000+ years. So you just made you boom light bulb. So I
It's,
knew I was in the spirit with it.
yeah. Well, and I just, sister, I'm just a messenger. I just wrote it down because I was like, wait, I was like, this is something that somebody just said. I said, let me note this down so we can take that in properly. 1 year is 1,461 days. Now, and to me, I don't know, but that makes more sense to me. Even if I don't fully understand it, I just heard, I'm like, because this, first of all, the fact that this 365 seems to go so fast and it seems to like, it's like you can't really accomplish anything really. And it doesn't even match up. Like there's so many things, like understanding how precise the universe is. The fact that it's so janky, I'm like, this is definitely man-made is why it's so weird, like so abjucky. Like they're just trying to force it in and say this is what it's supposed to be. But it's like something about it just doesn't flow like feels like it's supposed to flow. So that was my first thing is like, let's unpack this. Second was like I just kind of just wrote it in big and like I might as well put hearts around it because I'm like, yo, imagine we could go back to living like farmers, but for our regular life. So even though we don't all farm, technically we should be in some aspect, but treated life like that, like the cycles, like understanding there's a time where it's for us to reap, there's a time for us to sow, there's a time for us to just chill. There's a time for us to, like, there's a time for us to be appreciative, but understand that it's not about January, February, March, April, May. It's just a cycle in time where for just period of time is where everybody should be reaping, where everybody is sowing because we understand that this is the time. I feel if we did that, we would function again, there'd be such a level of harmony in terms of how we operate because it's like we're all harvesting at the same time. So we're helping each other to harvest. We're all sowing at the same time so we can help each other to sow. We're all reaping at the same time so we can help each other to reap. Anyway, I'm gonna just plant those out there. I'm in this realm of just looking to create these utopias. So that is like I didn't even have a comment. It was more like imagine. I really can't wait for that time to come. And actually, when Taj was speaking just now, that thing about time being really like there is no such thing as time, like because we do have to project ourselves in the future or in the past, but we're always in the present. But it's that what we take ourselves out of the present and either go back and regret something of the yesterday, or we're anticipating something in the future, but we're taking ourselves out of the present. But and in essence, there's only the present. Okay, guys, I'm gonna cede the floor to you guys to chime in. As our subject matter experts, let me pin you guys. So the floor is yours. You could chime in on any aspect of it. You could answer questions off of what we listened to in the video first. You could address our questions or comments, or you guys could just dive in. But I'll cede you guys the floor, and you go ahead.
So first of all, we're really happy always to see this video because it's that of uh, not only a person but for us it's someone who we call a prophet. You know, it's someone who had the task to bring that knowledge to the West for us to be
Mm,
able to grasp a little bit more of all of this body of knowledge, but also the knowledge of itself. And he did it because of you know the it's like a mission, all right, that he brought, and we are the continuation of that mission, actually. So
that- okay, and thank
he
you for
was
that.
there.
That gives us good context. And actually, I don't know if you're planning on doing it now, or if you want to do it in another session where you go into more
Yeah,
detail about who he is. Were you planning on doing that now?
absolutely, absolutely. Like maybe more details is necessary for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll try to introduce concepts first, but I want to make sure to acknowledge not only all of the things that he did, and for us, and he still does for us, because us being in the Kemetic culture, we know that he's still there with us. He's still right now with us, and most initiate knows it pretty well. So we are really grateful to be. And we want to make sure to be at the level of what he could bring for the humanity. All right, so I'll let my sister start with answering quite a few questions that were asked or comments, and I'll bring something else up.
Just to finish up your introduction, it's important to say his name. It's Nebdabala Musa Morodedimbe. He's a Dogon high priest, and it's those 2,000 years that we're living here. It's the knowledge was close to humanity. So that's what Hikeheba was saying, that mission to help humanity. What we were saying at the beginning, we feel that it's important to go back to our humanity, and this Dogon high priest had the mission to pave the way for us.
And I'm just sharing on the screen for those who, just so everybody could get the name, Naba Lamusa Morin Dingbig.
Moro Deni Big.
Dang. So in case anybody want, like, again, and I'm pleased, guys, I'm hoping we plan a session where you could go into a lot more detail about him, his history, his lineage. But again, just for anybody who's hearing his name for the first time, I want to just give you guys the opportunity just to Google, to look him up, to look up the great things that he's done. So I'm just sharing the name on the screen here so everyone can grasp it. Okay, thank you, sister. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he's just a master who paves the way for us to help us go back to our humanity, to the knowledge of the beginning of the world, the beginning of time. So without further ado, it was interesting to hear you, and thank you for your comments and all you bring. And what what strikes me is that it's the depth of your intervention, and at the same time, I can see how this society that has been built up for the 2,000 years has a strong layered in how we perceive things. We have a depth of understanding, and at the same time, our perception is dilutes that understanding. Because we are part of where Ikero was saying it. We are part of where we are living, and it influences us in many ways. So basically, I noted a few things. I will let Ikero go into all the details, but I noted a few things that I wanted to bring out. What's your name again?
Brother Ibrahim or me, Pharaoh?
Ibrahim.
Okay.
Ibrahim. Okay. Sorry. It was interesting. You were talking about the evil. Sorry about my pronunciation sometimes. We're talking about evil. That's in our house and everything. And sure, I think the notion of evil comes really from religion. The notion that I would like us to think about, I don't want to go into detail, it's more about corruption. The corruption that's close to us. Like when we're talking about evil, it's like outside, but it's more about the corruption that we live in, that we evolve in, the corruption that we have inside. So it just always, we have to fight to have that balance all the time between, the getting what's pure and the corruption. It's always there. So we always have to balance that. So that's why I'd like us to, think more about that instead of evil that's outside of us. And then again, we talk about being human is being vulnerable. And that also, I think it's the society that, when we were saying that the society tries to get us away from the truest self. So most of the time you're projecting things that that will get us to, to get away from
Si tu veux,
our
tu peux
strength.
t'exprimer en français, and I could translate it too, eh?
Yeah.
Because it looks like you have things that you want to say, and you're trying to find the right words to say it in English. But definitely, if you need to, you
It,
could express it in French, and I could do my best to translate it for you
yeah,
too.
it's okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and yeah, the society, because the notion of vulnerability, I say it's more about humility. Being human, it's about principle, more than vulnerability. It's about principle, and the principle gives you strength. And to go through that principle, you have to have humility. So it's those two things that we have to juggle with: the principles and humility. So it's not quite vulnerability.
Can I
So
respond to that? Or you're not finished? Okay,
yes,
sorry.
please. Well, you can go ahead, because while I was listening to you, I know maybe you had a deeper meaning about the vulnerability, but at the same time, I feel like um, c'est une faiblesse. It's a weakness,
Yeah, you see,
I
yeah,
perceive like a
yeah,
weakness,
exactly.
but
You see, like
being human, it's more like, yeah,
yeah,
it's
you see, women are more close to the earth. Women are more close to the earth. Femininity is more close to the earth. It's gracious when you're gracious. So being vulnerable, there's no way a person can get to himself or herself, but without being trusting of what you're trusting on a journey. Even being a good person in this life, you have to be vulnerable. That is okay. I'm going to be good anyways. Doesn't matter what people are doing. That makes me open to everything. I know what's happening, but I choose to be good in my society. That makes me very vulnerable because I open my heart to everybody. That is vulnerable. So
yeah,
in my vulnerability, I now begin to understand the wisdom of being vulnerable. Then I gain strength. A woman is nurturing, a woman is giving, the earth is giving, and we are destroying the earth. It's vulnerable, but it's still giving, but it's strong at the same time. And it's the mother, the cradle. So being vulnerable is not a bad thing in that sense. Being vulnerable, you're a provider, you are the mother of the house, you take care of everybody's emotion, but doesn't mean that you get it back. So you're basically like, vulnerable. To become oneself is to be vulnerable. Any master, any prophet who has come on this earth has come to this earth to do good for the people. So he puts his life vulnerable out there because he's
yeah,
following a principle. He's following a principle that through his vulnerability, he has designed a principle to guide him as or her as he works. So he's vulnerable because it's open. And when I say evil, because when a child is born with vulnerability and as pure as pure. There's no religion, there's nothing binding that child. So the child is evil. Anything that is out of that purity that has come to make human beings start to think that we are not breathing the same air, we are not eating from the same earth. How can I get from this person? That, for me, is evil. You can call it any name. That's fine. I agree. But the end point is to destroy that which is good, whether you like it or not. So for me, that's it could be evil, it could be the words you use. I don't have problem with the words. I have the insight and the knowledge of what the concept, what it does. That's the energy force field. So now you can see I'll put it like this, we live in Canada. There's a concept of banks. We have banks. We have CBC, we have National Bank, we have Desjardins, and we have all these different institutions, but they all write checks. and they write checks, and the checks have what we call money. So the end point is to spend the check. It doesn't matter what bank it comes from. Everybody wants to spend that check. So what I'm saying is that, like, I love all the I accept the wisdom from you and from the brother, from everybody. These are the institutions bringing the checks. But what we do with the knowledge, we get the message that, because we are saying the same thing at the end of the day. We are saying the same thing with different languages. The point is to be unified. That's the spending the check. So everybody must understand that. So when I say words cannot explain that which was before words, it means that even the checks that come, RBC, Bank of Montreal, all these things, the end result, we spend it to buy food we eat. There's a function. So I love and I hear everything you're saying. The words and the way we say the words, it's just the words. But the function of it is what I'm talking about from a spiritual perspective, if I may, please. Thank you. So I really love it. Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you for that
All
perspective.
right.
And also I'm just looking at the time. So I know we have about 10 minutes left or so. So I just want to make sure
Wow.
that
So soon?
I know
Okay.
time flies, but that's,
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
so I just want to give you guys that. And I don't know if Brother Ikariba also has anything else he wants to mention before we close up, but time really went by really quick. But it's
It
because we're
did.
talking
It
about
did.
Yeah,
a good topic. So I know it's gonna happen.
absolutely. I mean, uh, we can spend a lot of time discussing things now. And one of the things that we receive in terms of of knowledge related to our situation is that there is confusion sometimes. Confusion comes from the way we even the words we even use. The, it starts from there. I mean, the words I'm going to use for you to grasp my idea or the concept behind, they already are tainted with maybe your experience or your culture, and all of those things have been it's like on our perspective is pretty hard to see that, but they have been hijacked. All right. Meaning words uh in within themselves, they have a way to bring about uh, uh, clarity, all right, for our mind. Things like in nature and in tradition, it's normally simple. As you were saying, the children, the person who's candid and vulnerable is able to see things, right? But now, when you start to put words into things, that's where confusion can come. And we have a lot of confusion, a lot of confusion. There's one a verse or a story in the Bible that talks about that concept, of making sure that we devise human beings based on words and language. All right, and from that point, they were not able to build anything together again. So, what I want to bring right now on the table is that uh, when we were the at the age of civilizations, we we grasp a lot of things related to words, all right? And our in our beloved land, those languages were called hieroglyphs, right? And there are reasons why we come back to them, and there are reasons why it was erased, all right? So after back 18 centuries ago, if you were caught using those words, you will get killed. You will actually get killed. If you were caught teaching those words, you will get killed. We know the exact date of the edict that was pronounced by, I think it was a Roman Empire emperor, Justinian. So he said, okay, from now on, nobody will use those words again. Because if you want to dominate the Kemetic culture, you need to hit at the nerves that makes a lot of sense. And now, by hitting that at that time, it ushered in, like my sister was saying, more than 2,000 years of confusion, literally based on words. All right. So going back to the words, uh, we shouldn't see hieroglyph as something mysterious. It's a language like any other language, but there's something specific about it is that it connects us with nature. By that, what I want to say is that you can see it the way it's written. People even say, "Oh, we're drawing." No, it's you writing things, and the way it was made is for us to make sure that we stay connected with nature. So that's one of the principles that is really important because of, you know, you might have theories, you might have beautiful theories, but if it's not coherent with what you're able to experience outside, if within yourself as an imagination is not coherent with what's really outside, then uh, you are in the middle of a confusion, and you can bring a lot of people into that. There are other people who talked about here that contemporary. I know you if you know the book of Hariri, who talks about all of those narratives that were built in order to unify and build societies. Those are based on words, not knowing exactly the meanings of them. I mean, we have the tendency to look after principles to grasp them, but there's another layer, and that layer has its own set of uh, corruption, if I could say it so. That's why you have politicians, the media, all of them use words just to trick us. There was a sister who said something that I really like. She said it's a spell. Spells are words. Spells. And once you are into that spell, you have to go back to etymology. You have to go back to the origin of the things. Like, for instance, even evil comes from the word devil. Devil comes from a German translation of diabolos. And diabolos means from Greek to divide. All right. So if you look at the principle of what's division, to divide, you'll understand a lot of things related to uh, the connection that it has with corruption, the connection it has to, dissociating not only families, countries, but even the person within himself, disconnecting the body from his spirit, disconnecting the body from his genius, disconnecting him from his reincarnation. So all of those things that was practiced on us in different ways, right? We can go deeper into it. Even in the moment when we were born, all right? All of those things that were practiced on us was made to to put space for corruption. All right. So I want to add that notion. I know we don't have a lot of time, right? But for us, as Kemetic people, we insist on the fact that this is totally part of being alive. All right. There is all of these dynamic things happening. So we focus on purification to purify ourselves of things that were kind of inevitable. So we tend to purify ourselves even before going back to grasping knowledge, before going back to connecting with the divine, if before going back to that connection, because there is a relationship between purification and the words of the gods, and corruption and the world of the evils. All right.
Well
So
said.
that's just the one thing I want to add.
And like as we're talking, I'm making notes, and so we're gonna deep dive over the next couple of weeks, clearly in the calendar, in time, and yes, brother, hold on 1 second. I'm just gonna as we're preparing just to close down, and I feel not parallel, like right after that one, we should prepare the series of etymology where we go into the real meaning behind words. Because again, similar to not being able to properly meet each other without knowing our proper location where we're coming from, if using the calendar and timing, not being able to speak on using the same language, so to speak, is also something else that's gonna create confusion unless we go back to the root and make sure that when we're talking, we're using the root words and meanings for what they are supposed to be. So I think this is an amazing opportunity for us as a community to deep dive on foundational things. Time, calendar, huge. Etymology and understanding the meaning of words is also going to be huge. So I'm just planting that seed for us. Now we'll do our quick tool in the tab. Everyone, just final words, reminding people where to reach out to them. Any last things you want to say about the session today? And yeah, and how people could reach out to you and anything else you have going on, please share that as well. So we'll start, Brother Ibrahim. I seen your hands up, then Sister Tasha, you'll go.
Yeah,
So brother, you go ahead.
yeah. I'll wrap it up quickly. I just want to put out there, like like you always say, everybody is in a different stage in their understanding and wisdom. So every person is different, and that's beautiful. It's nice. Um, in the state of I don't come from religion in that sense. I don't come from religion in that sense. Religion is a way in which a person chooses to introduce them to live their lives here on earth as a spirit. So you can, like the prophet did, he was able to structure his own life to become sort of a religion. So which is great. So visions, and anybody who's ever been in a state of vision knows that in the state of being in a vision, there are no words. Communications, there's no words in vision. That's a state, a higher state. So what in that state, what we should do, like as a people to aid us, our lands have been stolen. Our lands have been stolen, and we are people who should be connected to our lands. So wherever we are, we should really, from a humility, from grace, from gracefulness, from gratitude, from all these things, we should appreciate the earth. We should look at the flowers and see the magnificence in the flowers. Listen, breathe the air that we breathe, and really give glory. Thanks for that. We should appreciate all the things. When a person starts appreciating sincerely all the things that are given by nature, then the person draws closer back to God. So talking about spelling, it's a spell. It's a spelling. I am under God's spell. God's spelling. I'm under the God's spell. So it's a spell, but I'm under God's spell. It's not human spell. It's God's spell, which is to be kind, to be nurturing, to love, to strive towards loving each other, to strive towards having a clear mind, to be humble, to be grateful, to see the miracles that the days present, the sun, you, the people here, and to really fall down and really know that I am nothing. I am nothing, because these things are so miraculous that I am just nothing. Come from that state of like, I am part of this gratefulness, and to wrap it up, knowledge comes from such a vision. Pure knowledge comes from a state of gratitude, knowing that this is amazing what has been done, given to us, and to just be open to it and love it. And from there, hopefully we can design our own structure, our lands, our children, and all kind of stuff. That's where I come from, and it's one of peace and harmony.
Thank you, thank you, brother. And remind people how to reach out to you if anybody wants to connect with
To
you.
reach out to me, you can connect with House of OFC, and you get to me. It's as simple as that. So,
oh, thank you, my brother. Sister Queen Taja, love Oracle.
Yes, my dear. Oh, all right. So to close it up real quick, you guys said so many things I wanted to say stuff about. The vulnerability thing, though, I wanted to talk about the vulnerability. I want to talk about just that connection. Look, when I looked up the word vulnerable, it literally means being easily hurt, damaged, or influenced, either physically or emotionally, right? So, there's something that comes to my mind where the ex-head of the CIA, William Casey, he said that when everything that the American people know about themselves is false, then we can take control of the people. You understand? And that's the message of the world. We didn't lose our land, we lost our minds. we lost the power of our minds. And instead of being easily guided in a positive way, instead of allowing ourselves to be emotionally guided in a positive way, we started to ignite ourselves, and we started to tell ourselves, well, you're different and you're different. And you know what I mean? Like when I think about the war of the Hutus and the Tutsis, me and my sister would have been in warring tribes. That's my sister. But I got a big nose and she got a skinny nose, so we would have been fighting. And that doesn't make any sense. So our minds is what has become vulnerable, because we have now allowed ourselves to become easily hurt. We've now allowed ourselves to become easily divided. And what we have to do is come back into a state of diversity. We don't need any more vulnerability. We need diversity. We need to be able to look at ourselves and see the difference between us, but see that we're all the same. We need to know that, hey, I got 10 fingers just like you do. Yours might got a white layer on it, while mine might have a brown layer on it. But we still could toil and still do things together. And when we hold each other up, then I can help you rise and you can help me rise. But as long as we let the experiment of division continue to rise in our lives, then we will continuously be looking for a solution on how to get back. And this is why God says, look, I just need you to work on you individually and break that war within yourself. And when you break that war within yourself, you'll break it on humanity. Remember, they had to use a lot to divide us. They had to use our minds, our education, our skin color, our hair difference. They had to use, you got crooked teeth compared to straight teeth. They had to use every single solitary thing, so that when everything we know about ourselves is false, that was the way for them to use the democracy to be able to divide us, because they told us that we were free while they were robbing our minds. Love you guys.
How do we connect with you, Queen?
TajLoveOracle.com. You can find me there on everything: YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram. I'm a one-stop shop, and I appreciate you guys for checking in. And we're going to get you right where you need to go by getting your mind back in play. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what it is. And Brother Igaiba and Queen Kefta, if you guys also want to share your final words and let us know how we could follow up with you guys, and then I'll close us up.
Personally, my final words will be, like I was trying to do when I started my intervention, is just to put some words to think about, to because of just put some words to think about, to meditate further. So I'm just going to do that with another word, because it's closer to Tasha's intervention about time. That time is linear. It's again, it's a question of perception. So I'm just leaving us to think about time as cycle. And I'm diving also into the question that you had, Pharaoh. You talk about you'd like to be back in the farmer's way of doing. And exactly, the 365 days are called the farmer's year. 165 days of the year, and it's made of 4 times farmers year of 365 days. So we are back into the cycles. You know, in your vision, you spoke about it.
Right.
So that's what I'd like us to meditate about, time as being cyclic.
Thank you, Queen. All right. And Brother Ikaiba, and then how do we follow up with the House of Kepta, or the just if we want more information about you guys' teachings.
Well, she brought a really great point, telling point. So, having cycles, seeing things as not necessarily linear, but kind of something evolving in a cycle. is something that is really important within the culture. So that's why we also try to use the word of tradition. Tradition is repeating things, right?
Mhm.
So we are really not only grateful, we're still there for presenting this all this body of knowledge. I mean, you lose nothing just to learning of it. You know, you won't lose anything. And I'd like to add one last thing regarding the point I want to make sure that stays within this conversation is that words uh, is almost what started it all. You know, even if you go to the Jews, to the Christians, if you look at the what is called the Bereshit or the beginnings of things, it was through words that creation came about to become. And the comedic, it's actually a comedic inspiration, of course. And there are reasons why words have those powers, you know, and these powers are actually something that even creates what we try to call energy. You know, what is energy? Energy comes from somewhere. You know, we all made of energy, and all of those energies are specific, different, diverse from each other, but they all stem from one source. And there are, fortunately, there is clarity, right? Once you go towards a step of knowing exactly what happened, which is called the cosmogony or cosmology, use that words, you try, you start to grasp the knowledge and the wisdom that was ingrained and engraved inside of those cosmogonies, so those narratives. It's deep, 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 deep knowledge. And still today, if you look at the stories of you have in science fiction, they still use the same basic stories
Mhm.
because of its coherence with the universe, its coherence with understanding even ourselves. All right, so I want to put an emphasis on that word, on the word, and I want to make sure that to know that um, there is a divinity who had one of the most important divinity who had the responsibility of that, you know, and brother Ibrahim, uh, his name also has that the name of that divinity within him, so it means something at some point, you know. So though all of those meanings um, have power, energy, and we live within those things throughout all of lives. And that's another mystery that we will be happy to not only not necessarily solve, but give you some insights of it. All right.
And respect.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
that. And Brother Captain, how do we connect with you guys at the House
We're
of?
through the House of OFC for now, and you'll see us next week, same hour. Please be there, and we'll be happy to hold you.
Yeah, brothers and sisters, thank you very much. And to my dear brother, my name, I know the energy behind my name. It was told by me by my father. So you
Mhm.
see, it's there's energy behind it, and the energy governs what I do every day. So yeah, I'd like to break down with you and go down deeper into it, and so we can better like harness our differences to support where we're going. You know.
I love this. I like it.
Absolutely.
And again, the more we talk, it's like I'm making notes. So it's like, yeah, it's we'll get into etymology. And I guess while we're talking etymology, we'll talk about history of names and stuff like that, naming rituals,
Mm-hmm.
naming practices. And because again, we're here to just create this opportunity. This is the House of OFC, you guys. So it's a little bit outside the box. And so my final words is again, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the conversation. I'm grateful for the spirit just leading it the way that it has. As I go through my journey here on the planet, it is I'm here here for evolution. I'm here for really setting an example of this is how we can be. This is how we could bring together various people who share different different levels of consciousness, different spiritual beliefs, different religious beliefs, and this is how we could still get together and build community. So I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful to each and every one of you guys. Reminders, you guys, as you know, within the OFC, we have things going on all the time, every week. So you could join us every Tuesday morning. We have the OFC Weekly where we get on Zoom from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. just to get together, to build, to network, to get to know each other, and to build a community, to support each other however we can. Every Thursday morning, CKUT 90.3 FM, we have the platform where we give you space to share with the community who you are and what you're doing. And you guys know we're here every Sunday. So you guys, I thank you for supporting and encouraging the OFC. Just check out ofccommunity.com on everything, and you can join us back here every week. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week, Sunday, same time, same place. Again, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Send you guys love, light, and strength. And I ask that life continue to bless each and every one of you, that we'll be able to get back together and continue to build community. Hotep, amen, and ashe. Love, 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 guys.
Thanks,
See you soon.
everyone. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
this conversation.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
happy
Thank
Mother's
you.
Day
Thank you.
again, all the mothers out
Happy
there.
Mother's Day. Happy
Send you
Mother's
guys
Day.
love.